their land and home because of the idea of manifest destiny. And the LGBTQ community were considered to be dangerous because of the AIDS epidemic, causing them to be discriminated against as well. Oh, wait. African Americans, Native Americans, and the LGBTQ community. But what is equality? Equality, by definition, is the state of being equal. It's a simple definition that has simple words and a simple concept, yet our nation struggled to meet equality. When I was little, I remember a family member telling me to be careful of certain people. One in particular I remember was Muslims. When you're little, you normally do what you were told, especially by your family, so that's what I did. I tried to be careful of Muslims. But by the time I was in the 3rd grade, I realized that my best friend was Muslim. She was my sister, she was my best friend, and she treated me better than anyone else I knew. My family believed that Muslims were dangerous because of 9/11. They judged an entire community and an amazing group of people just because of the actions of a few. They believed that Muslims were dangerous, and this was their belief, this was their opinion that they believed was fact. But as we fast forward into today, in 2018, we have seen so many amazing advancements to reach equality. In the Obama era, we have seen the gay community reach a step into equality by the legalization of same-sex marriage. After a history of discrimination and getting their voices suppressed, they fought and fought and fought, and they got their voices heard, and now they can love and marry whomever they choose. Along with the gay community, we've also seen advancements in women. Women were not always able to vote. Women were also suppressed, especially by men, and their voices were never heard. But after fighting and fighting and fighting, they changed the way that women and young girls like me get to have our voices heard in government. But after all this progress, what do we do next? Well, we need to keep fighting and striding to reach equality, because equality is a never-ending battle. We as a youth are going to be the next generation that enters and is going to vote for the issues that we want to fix. We have the strongest voices, therefore we will make the strongest impact, and we will make it happen. Thank you. Sign in.
Kylie, can you announce the speakers as they go up?
Mm-hmm. I'll show you. Just here. Do I start?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, hi, my name is Sophie, and for the past 2 years, I have been captain of the girls' tennis team, and I have to say it was such an honor. I want to start with saying that my experience there, it has taught me so many things, and there's 3 things that I want to talk about. what I learned, because it didn't just apply to tennis, but it applied to life. So 1, determination is key. 2, encouragement will always be needed. And 3, selflessness is the answer. 1, determination. Determination is the first step. As a leader, I had to be the most determined, especially when the timing was rough, especially in the beginning when we were conditioning. Nobody wanted to do it. We were a brand new team. A lot of these girls did not know how to hold a racket. But we didn't let these challenges stop us. We're not professionals, but we were determined to teach these girls what we were taught of the sport. Even when the responsibility fell heavily on my shoulders, I was determined to teach because I had a goal. 2, encouragement. Encouragement was always helpful, especially in times when the team was down or frustrated. Even when I myself was down, I had to stay positive and encourage my teammates, because whether I liked it or not, I was the one looked upon in those times of need. Maybe you will experience a time when you are the one looked upon when the timing is rough. The best that you can do is to just stay positive and spread the encouragement, because it's always nice to get encouragement from someone. Even if it's just a slight push, it helps. 3, selflessness. This last thing is what hit me the most in my time of being a captain. When I first started out junior year, I didn't think much to it. I was just, oh, I'm captain, I get the authority. But my perspective changed when I was a senior, when I was given the responsibility, because I learned that with title comes responsibility. I enjoyed all of it because I didn't do it for myself, but I did it for my teammates. The more I got to know them, the more I got passionate about them besides the sport. And I knew that whatever I decided on, it won't just affect me, but the people around me. A lot like how a lot of your own decisions will not just affect you, but the people around you. In my time of being captain, I have gained a new family and new memories, from our brand new team becoming league champions to experiencing a memorable and emotional senior night. Those things that I have learned in my time as captain, they'll not just help you in being a leader, but it'll help you in life, in the simplest things. In determination, encouragement, and selflessness, those 3 things, they'll bring you opportunities, and I assure you they'll be good ones. Thank you.
If you guys are up next after the person presenting, I want you guys over here.
So after Jack, we have, is Norma here? But if not,
What's his name?
What's your name?
Up next is Jack, my guys. Yeah.
that was terrible.
You know what?
Response not stand by.
Please stand by. Why is that horrible?
How many hold your mat? Here you go. Oh, where's the, here you go. Huh? To the right is your next one.
Okay. Trash and garbage, it's everywhere. From the floor to the grounds outside, in the plants, in landfills, oceans, it's everywhere. In the study, an average person in the world creates about at least 4 pounds of garbage or trash every day. That can equate up to 1.5 tons of trash a year, and it just piles on the more you live on. The lifespan's endless, not endless. In 2015, 5.25 trillion pounds or pieces of garbage are found in the ocean. That can equal up to 22 million of those large airplanes, the A380, the largest passenger plane in the world. The garbage in the ocean, that's just too much. Those are plastics. Those can weigh really low. Garbage cans. Use them. This is what this TED Talk's about. This is not about saving the earth. This is about picking up that little piece of trash or anything that you drop. I can demonstrate. This is how you do it. Simple. There's no trash can nearby, so I could simply put it in my pocket and wait till I get off the stage. Super easy. Yet so many people still throw away their trash on the floor and just leave it there. Or sometimes they try to throw it like a basketball. Still pick it up. It's not that hard. Throw it away. Trash cans are there for a reason, so you use them. Don't be selfish. To me, this equals to a person that can't even park between the lines in the parking lot, or to the people that cross the street when there's a green light. It's also super rude. This is just about being a great person and living a great life with no trash. Clean their life. Throw away your trash. Thank you.
Next up, we have Jalen.
No, she's not going there. Is Josue? Yeah.
Next up is Josue, my bad.
Okay, it's working. Just leave it on, Kylie. God, don't be so anal about it.
You better hear me. There. All right. Sex. It's a fun topic, right? We all love to talk about it, and whether we deny it, most of us love to participate in it. But how many of us know how to practice safe sex? How many of us know what safe sex is? California is one of the few states to offer mandatory safe sex ed. And what do the other kids in the other states do? You could ask an older sibling, ask an older friend, but let's be honest, that's gonna be awkward, right? So they turn to their phones. Kids have access to the internet at the touch of their fingertips. But is that really a safe place, especially about such a sensitive topic like sex? Sure, there may be webs and forums for them to read, but most likely, they're full of false information, and kids could be misled. And they could end up making terrible decisions that could ruin the rest of their lives. And also, let's talk about sex ed in general. It's kind of boring, isn't it? They're just like, oh, you know, let me see, here's a dick, and then all you gotta do is you open this thing up, you gotta fool around with it a little bit, you gotta, don't forget, you gotta pinch the tip, and then you gotta roll it on, and then that's it. That's all they show you. Obviously, it's bad, right? They don't even tell you what you need it for or why. Schools also need to recognize heterosexual sex isn't the only sex around. Schools don't even cover queer sex ed. I mean, do any of you know what dental dams are or what spermicide is? No, right? Schools need to cover all of this. Even though your child may not turn out to be gay, lesbian, transgender, or anything in between, it's much better to have them be safe and protected. All of this may seem like something dumb and pointless to you, but teenage pregnancy is still a thing. I mean, for Pete's sake, we have a show on MTV called Teen Mom, and Teen Mom OG, and all of that stuff. And STDs are still a thing. I mean, oops. Yeah, STDs are still a thing. All those states that don't have sex ed, look at their rates. Really high. That has to show you something. We need to improve sex education within our kids. The last thing this generation needs is another AIDS epidemic. This is only a few of the countless lives lost due to the epidemic. And why did it happen? Men and women were lied to. They weren't told why they needed safe sex. The general public was also lied to. They weren't told to help those in need. They were told to avoid them. They were contagious. Parents always say they want their kids to be safe. They want them to be well-informed and go out into the world prepared. Why not have them be safe in bed? Thank you. You know what? I made this last night.
Oh, shit. Oh.
Watch your profanity.
Next up is Jalen. Here you go. This is to switch it.
Okay, what do I do?
Just right to right.
Oh, what's up? Okay. Huh? Oh, shit. Okay. Okay. By a show of hands, how many of you guys heard the term forgive and forget? By another show of hands, how many of you guys have been hurt by someone in your lifetime? All hands should be raised because it's a part of life to be hurt. Can I start over? Can I please start over?
Yeah, just don't say shit into the microphone again.
Oh, okay. Wait, did you ding me for that?
Huh?
Did you ding me for that?
No, Miss Smith's listening.
Oh, sorry, Miss Sinnott. All right. By a show of hands, how many of you guys heard the term forgive and forget? By another show of hands, how many of you guys have been hurt by someone or something in your lifetime? All hands should be raised because it's a part of life to be hurt. And when you're talking about forgiving and forgetting, it sounds so simple to achieve, when in reality, we're dealing with uncontrollable, intangible human emotions. And we have no control over who or what will hurt us or anything that surrounds us. Dang it, okay. Regardless of how you've been hurt, who hurt you, or why, we need to think about the next step. Because even though we couldn't control how, who, or why, we can control how to react from it and how to move on from it. So basically, when we're talking about forgiveness, let's talk about why it's so hard to forgive. You're upset. I don't want to forgive you. Well, in reality, let me show you how important it is to forgive. This is you, carefree, living your life as usual. But let's see what happens when you're hurt by something around you. That pain builds inside of you. Now, if you don't forgive, if you keep on letting that pain get inside of you, eventually, oh nuts, you're gonna pop. But let's see what happens when you do start to forgive and let out that anger. And when you let go altogether, you're back to yourself. One of my favorite movies, The Freedom Riders, is a story about a teacher coming into a school where it's racially divided, and everyone is segregated, and the students deal with gang violence, drugs, and homelessness on a day-to-day basis. And they had one similarity. Even though they were all different, they shared the similarity of having no one to point them in the right direction. But in this scene, A Toast for Change, the teacher, she brings out glasses of sparkling apple cider, and she tells her students to raise this glass and use this as a toast to forgive your situation, forgive the things that surround you, forgive yourself, and to never let them hurt you again. And a toast as a promise to move on from your situation and to never let them hurt you again, and keep going in the positive direction, regardless of what hardships you will face. So, essentially, forgiveness inspires change. Not only does it inspire change, but it also inspires self-confidence, empowerment, courage. Anger is not going to help your situation. In fact, when you don't forgive, you're showing that the person who hurt you still has power over you. So that's why I'm here today. Everybody, raise up your shot glasses. Oh, shoot. Raise up your glasses, right? Raise up your glasses, invisible glasses. And today, we are going to have a toast for forgiveness. We're going to talk about how we don't want to get hurt again, and how we're going to let this situation become a part of who we are, and we're going to move on from it. Thank you. That neck, boy. Bro, that sucks so bad. Oh my God.
You want it? Do you need it?
Okay. Oh yeah.
We got Sammy up here. Give him a hand.
All right. All right. My name is Sammy, and this is my TED Talk. Books. How many of you genuinely enjoy reading books in school? In school, students should have the choice on what books they want to read and not be dictated by what the school board feels is appropriate on only due to the reason on helping or heightening our vocabulary word bank. Students in school should always be given the creative rights to choose on how to show their creativeness and imagination throughout reading books in English classes. Books like the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and The Great Gatsby are from a different era in which the texts are different, and it doesn't resonate with the youth because the struggles that they're going through aren't related or have any relevance with the youth, so they have a less active and participate in English classes. Now, modern day books like The Hunger Games or Harry Potter often resonate with the youth because of how they use their imagination to create their own world and make themselves feel connected to the protagonist due to their age relevance. And therefore, we should have a majority vote on which books in English classes are allowed to read. This should happen by the teacher bringing in 3 separate books from the 2000s and up, and having a majority vote on which certain books should be allowed. The students should have an opinion and demonstrate their opinion by arguing or giving certain points on why these books are better for everyone to read, so that the students have a more active rate and participate more outside of class because of how relevant these books are to us youth. Thank you.
You want the mic stand?
Up next.
It's Fletcher.
Yeah, sure. How do I use it? Which button do I press?
Right arrow.
I just press the right
Right
button.
to right, yeah.
All right. Actually, I'm just gonna use the stand. Oh yeah. Nah. Does it work well? It's like, can it hear me? All right. Like that. Is that good? Is that good? Okay. When do you want me to start? Okay, so Sandy Hook Elementary School, Columbine High School, Stoneman Doug High, all echo with the sounds of gunshot and the screams of student and bloodshed on their campuses. It seems like every day you see another massacre on a school campus somewhere in the United States. These terrorists come into the school systems, and the schools have no form of defense. They cannot defend against these shooters. That's why I propose self-defense in the classroom by arming teachers with handguns to protect our students, to protect our staff, and to protect our communities. Our current system is we lock the door, you hide, and you just hope that if a school shooter is there, that they walk by your classroom and ignore you. That's frankly a terrible way of self-defense. An active shooter could shoot through the windows, they could shoot through the door. And what happens if they walk into your classroom? What are you gonna do? You're as good as dead. You have no way to defend yourself, and the shooter is gonna shoot you. That's why schools across Ohio, Texas, and even Florida are arming and preparing staff to deal with the future possibility. School districts are even promoting it with signs stating that armed personnel are inside to scare off potential attackers. Because think of it logically. If you're a school shooter, what are you going to shoot up the school? Are you going to shoot up the school that has, there's armed defense, the staff are armed, the teachers are armed, and there's going to be armed resistance against you? Or are you going to go into the gun-free school where you go in and there's nothing stopping you from enacting your carnage on the school and the community? Also, teachers will be able to instantaneously respond to a school shooter scenario, whereas police might take too long, especially in rural areas where a nearest police precinct might be miles and miles away. And so some people say that schools do not belong, like guns do not belong in our schools, and this is false because a school. Oh, where's that? All right, so our athletes, our celebrities, and our workplaces are all more armed than ours. Can you hear me now? Okay. Okay, so we good? Okay, so our athletes, our workplaces, and our celebrities are more armed than our schools. It's ridiculous that the Kardashians are better defended than when you send off your children to go study and make a better life for themselves, try to prepare for their future. And so opponents will say that teachers are incapable of wielding a weapon and would end up shooting a student. And this is false, because with the proper training, anyone can be a responsible gun user. If a teacher is so unstable that they would end up using a weapon irresponsibly and accidentally shoot a student, then they shouldn't be teaching students in the first place. That's why we should have extensive background checks on our teachers to certify that they have the mental capability to be responsible in front of students and be responsible in front of staff. Another argument is that some schools will not be able to afford to enact this safety in our school districts. And this is also false because the NRA, the National Rifle Association, has a school shield program which allows guides, tips, and financial aid to school districts hoping to enact safety. President Donald Trump has also proposed federal funding to help enact school safety in school districts. But it is ultimately up to us, the people, to enact school safety. I call on all of you to contact your legislators, your parents, your teachers, your admin, to be able to enact safety in our schools. If we want safety and defense in our school system, we need to put pressure on school districts to enact the funding for it. That's why we need safety in our school system. We need guns in the classroom. Thank you.
Before I start, I said I get a C automatically, right? That's the lowest possible grade you can get. You really didn't? I thought you said that. My bad, my bad. All right. Okay. Okay, my name is Eric Bush, and this is my presentation on why weed should be legal nationwide. I really gotta use the mic.
My, my, na- my, my bad, I ain't never used a microphone before. I don't really know how this works. My name is Eric Bush. My name is Eric Bush, and this is my presentation on why weed should be legal nationwide. Studies show that almost 40% of Americans smoke weed or have smoked weed in their past. And even a few of our presidents have smoked it, including Obama, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and his father, or George Bush's father, I guess senior. My point is that weed is a harmless drug and should be treated like such, like coffee. And the laws on marijuana are still too heavily regulated in some states. Weed is completely legal, but in others, on a federal level, it's a very different story. How close? Like right up on it? Gotcha. Oh, were they recording? Shit. Yup. Okay. The federal laws on marijuana are extremely strict, and my cousin had to learn this the hard way. He was a 19-year-old drug dealer, or weed dealer, from California. He went to Texas to sell some weed to some people he knew out there, but what he didn't know was weed was illegal on a federal level when you transport it through states. He did 2 years in a federal prison because of this. He went in, a 19-year-old kid, thinking about going to college, but when he left, he was a 21-year-old Crip who sold guns too, at the end of the story, so. Federal prison is no place for a nonviolent drug offender, and it's just, hold up 1 second. In my defense, I wrote these notes today, so it's really not even on me. I was gonna skip to the next slide. That's what I'm saying. The C automatically would be so much better. Just let me slide. Come on. But my last point is weed should be legal because it has many medical benefits. Many of the benefits are it helps against seizures, glaucoma, Crohn's disease, muscle spasms, cancer, nausea, weight loss, headaches and migraines, and pain relief. And in conclusion, nobody should have to go to prison because they want to smoke a plant. And weed's already legal in like most states in America, so why wouldn't the rest of the country just get involved? And that's it.
Next we have,
One more time for Eric. Woo.
who do we have next?
That's Damien. All right, give it up for Damien with, I don't know what his topic is.
You should go. You got slides?
No, I don't have slides.
Okay.
He doesn't have slides, let's go.
Why do I need it?
Oh, wait, yeah, you don't need it.
Pretty awkward, right? But that's who I am. And that's the kind of environment that I'm comfortable with. And to most people, it's the worst position ever, just like right now. And what I could say for myself is that being in that position doesn't change who I am, doesn't make me uncomfortable, because in reality, I'm really comfortable. And for the most part, most of our society is really cautious about how they act in public, especially when they're alone. And being alone in public is the worst thing that could happen to them. I mean, it's like, I've seen it, they scramble through the phone trying to figure out how to look busy. But in my case, it's not about looking busy. It's about looking comfortable and, most importantly, feeling comfortable. Being alone in public is one of the things that many of us will have to do in our lifetime. Whether it's shopping in a grocery store or going to a bank or walking to the library. I mean, it's gonna happen eventually. And it's up to us to actually learn how to feel comfortable. And nobody's forcing you. It's all up to you. But it's just for the sake of being yourself in public. And another reason as to why being alone in public shouldn't be a bad thing is that it's the time to find yourself. You won't have your friends holding your hand all of the time or family members. It's going to be up to you to figure out who you are and what you learn in life. And by being alone, and being alone is the perfect way to find out. Being alone is the way to find out what you like and what you don't like. And on the plus side, you get to pick where you want to go. I mean, you can go to the hills, you can go to San Francisco, you can go anywhere. And you don't have to follow anyone else's opinions or worry about everyone else. Thank you.
Next up, we have
Who? Oh, Jason. All right, give it up for Jason. Also, whoever's after Jason, can you please proceed to the ramp so we can keep this moving? I'm a TA this period. So how you guys doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Good. I got nothing. Yeah. What? Juan, get out of here. I don't have a joke. Actually, okay, Ruby got a joke.
What starts with a P and ends with an E and has a million letters in it? What? What?
Right behind the computer.
No. No, damn, you guys really, it's post office. Million letters in it, starts with a P, ends with an E. Y'all are lame.
That's out of pocket. You can take the mic off if you don't want to use it. Yeah, I got it.
Let's go, boy. Nice fit. Itching up?
All right. Many people believe that participating in community service is only a requirement to graduate high school. Although it may be true, but there are also many benefits behind the act of serving the community. As personally, I'm a member of Key Club International, which is one of the largest and oldest service club in high school. In Key Club, we do a variety of activities, including cleaning up parks, gathering resources for the needy, or organizing books in the library. As a high schooler, I understand that we might not have the time to put in the effort to help to serve our community. But if we all contribute a small amount, we will all be able to make a huge difference and a huge change in our society. We should all participate in volunteering activities because 1, it brings beautification to our surroundings. 2, it brings the community together and strengthens the local relationship. 3, it will improve your communication skills and your social responsibility. For example, let's say you are picking up trash when you're cleaning up a park, or you're organizing a book in the library. You are simply making your community a more comfortable place for people to live in. Also, let's say you are serving food to the elderly or passing out resources to the needy. You are building up the relationship between you and the ones who surround you every single day. 3, as you continuously interact with strangers, with people you don't know, you are building your self-confidence and boosting your self-esteem, which will then improve your communication skills. So, how can you get started? Consider joining a service club at your school, like Interact, Key Club, Red Cross, Jefferson Service Club, or etc. Or you can even join a local organization around your cities. Or you can start your own organization. We are leaders in training. We all come from greatness. So let's create your own legacy.
There are many ways to give back to our community, and the first step is to find a group of people who wish to pursue the same purpose as you do. Thank you.
All right, one more time for Jason. All right, so who do we have next? We have time. Okay, so while I get the slides up, I don't have a joke, but I have a weird story. So when I was going, hey, shut up, Josue.
Okay. No, we got 10 minutes. We got time for 2.
Okay, so I was landing at Sydney Airport, and I was getting my luggage, and one of them went missing because, of course, it went missing. So I went to the desk clerk to say that she was missing my luggage, and she told me, "Has my plane landed yet?" She asked me if the plane I was on has landed. So I told her, no, I'm having an out-of-body experience right now, and I was just checking in. And that's my story. And all right, give it up for Kai.
All right. Okay. Columbus never thought his findings of North America would create a new era, an era of migration and exchange. Although Columbus has nothing to do with Mars or discovering Mars, however, he did find a continent that has the power to explore Mars or travel to Mars. Mars is a planet in our solar system and is a planet very similar to Earth. Mars has many resources beneath its layer and many resources that's on its surface. Going to Mars is the first step of going outside of our galaxy. Going to Mars is a long-term benefit. It's not only give us a station to stay, but also we could plan a future trip from there. Mars is a place where we could get resources and minerals that Earth doesn't have. On Mars, there's also O2. There's also O2, H2O, and methane that could totally support Earth, humans living on there. These resources in our solar system, there's no planet that contains them. Some people might think sending people to Mars is unethical because we're putting humans on space for many years, and it gets very lonely in there on the ship. I disagree with them because astronauts are professionally trained people. They have the experience. They're also doing human a big favor by exploring Mars or space. So why should we spend billions and billions of dollars of traveling to Mars? Well, it's like a retirement plan. You're paying, me, our parents are paying for the retirement plan. We don't get the money now, but when we retire, we get those monies. Same way as this program. We're paying for the spaceship, we're paying for the astronaut, we're paying for the traveling fee. And when we get there, we could get those resources that are on Mars and fill in like limited resources that Earth no longer has or contains. Those materials being sent back, we could totally make new stuff that Earth has not made yet. And people tend to care more about the past and the than the future. We care about climate change because it's happening right now. We care about eating healthy because we're experiencing the goods and bad effect of eating healthy. So, in my opinion, we should send humans to Mars by the end of this century. Thank you.
That was a pretty weak congratulations. Give it up one more time for Kai.
All right, we doing one more?
Okay, so we got time for one more. Okay, we got a joke. Go for it.
What's Super Mario Brothers pants made out of? Denim, denim, denim. Denim, denim, denim. I know. Okay, why could the toilet paper cross the road? Because it got stuck in a crack.
Okay. All right.
Yes. All right. You should learn how to swim, and if you don't, you're ignorant. Ignorant of the fact that Earth is made out of predominantly water. Ignorant of the fact that 1,000 people drown each day. Ignorant of the fact that swimming is a very fun sport. It's not really about swimming well. It's just about swimming good enough so that you don't drown, you don't die. Furthermore, swimming can also benefit you physically and mentally, as it is an engaging exercise. Whether you like it or not, there's going to be a day where you're going to need to know how to swim in order to have fun. If you don't know how to swim, it'll be impossible for you to make the most out of scenarios such as a theme park or a boat cruise. Now, for the guys out there, imagine yourself on a date with your girlfriend, and she knows how to swim, but you don't. Now, she's gonna be in the deep end swimming really good, you know? And you're gonna be out there in your wimpy rubber ducky floaties trying to barely stay afloat. Life is short, so you should learn how to swim before you get embarrassed by not knowing how to do so. The sooner you learn how to swim, the sooner you can enjoy the other 70% of this earth that we live in. People want to stay fit, but not everybody really has a dog to walk or like some other activity that they're interested in. The good news is there will always be a pool or a beach or an aquatic center or any place that you could swim at and exercise. Swimming is the best exercise because swimming vigorously burns the most calories out of any other exercise. It burns up to 600 calories per hour. In addition to swimming down your waistline, you can enjoy some other mental benefits because swimming can make you mentally sharper. It can reduce your risk of heart disease, diabetes, lung cancer, and help you live longer. Last but not least, not dying is something that humans unconsciously focus on every day. We breathe and have a fight or flight response without even thinking about it. Unfortunately, if you do not know how to swim, you're not going to have that fight or flight response. You're just going to straight up drown. Let's talk statistics for a second. Drowning is the third leading cause of unintentional death. As many as 372,000 people drown each year. And to put that into perspective, that's 4 San Leandros suffocating in the bottom of the ocean each year. So instead of dodging the problem of not knowing how to swim by just procrastinating it, just put some time into learning how to swim because one day it can save your life. Thank you.
All right, give it up one more time. All right, exit stage left. We're done here.